Young men have not been able to keep up with young women financially, and they are being beat out by young women with education as well. And so they are becoming more religious in an effort to take back control. It's also the reason that young men are becoming more conservative because they can't compete with young women. When we are put on equal footing, they lose. And it's not because they're not capable of winning, it's because they refuse to try. They want to be handed the trophy without trying. And they hear stories about the good old days when men were guaranteed to have wives and they did not have to compete with women financially or in the workplace. And they want to go back to those times because they don't want to have to be kind to women. They don't want to have to emotionally connect to women in order to have a relationship.
Or maybe religion offers some type of structure that they don't see, or some type of common sense that they do not see in what was, before what's currently happening, a very female centric society.
Post election analysis pointed to the manosphere, economics, and old school sexism as possible causes. The truth is, there is no way backwards. Women are outgrowing men by leaps and bounds because women are growing and men are not. So there is no way backwards. When women were forced to be children for their entire lives, when they were given no power, when they were
Forced to be children. Oh,
given
man.
no financial freedom, when they were given no choice, even then, women were poisoning their husbands to get away. So, what do you think is going to happen if you try to take away all of our freedom now? Now that we have created the lives that we want to lead, now that we have the freedom to leave, now that we are outperforming you in all of these arenas, what do you think is going to happen if you try to take that away? And for the record, this will destroy religion too, because now there are even more hypocrites packed into the church than there were before. They're not there because they love Christ. They are there because they want power.
The fact that this chick here thinks that she's going to end all religion and that women are going to, what are you going to do? I mean, I want you to really think about this. She's talking like there's going to be some type of retaliation to men choosing to find more meaning and purpose in life. And there are more men who are attending church more. What are you going to do? Try and convince men to attend church? Like what's the negative reaction to men wanting to embrace more Christian values? What really happened was we saw feminism reach a terrible, terrible, terrible point where the very identity of men and women was confused. We've seen families be broken down, at women divorcing at high rates. We've seen men be devalued in their masculinity, be demonized. You cannot fight any type of movement and not have men backing you. It won't happen. It can't happen. And what she means by women want men to be nicer and kinder is they want you to not look at women as helpmates, because that's what the Bible says women are. Doesn't mean that you have to treat women horribly, or treat them unlovingly. No, they want to be put at the same equal playing field when it comes to leadership as men. It just won't happen. It just won't happen. Let's read a few of these comments, see what the people have to say. Top comment says, I'm starting to believe they are trying to roll back protections to begin training the next generation. They're not focused on us except to make us conform by financially punishing us. But if the next gen comes into the world with these laws in place, they have nothing to compare personally. What's interesting is you hear all these claims of women doing really well, and they are pursuing education at a high rate, but they also own majority of student loan debt. I think up to like 65% of that, which you're going to have to pay back. You will be paying those student loans back. Same thing with housing, right? As much as they own houses, They're also in debt and house poor. Men typically only buy a house in many cases when it makes sense, when they plan on raising a family. Another comment here says, F the patriarchy and their artificial systems. The same systems that you're benefiting from as a woman were built by these men. Another comment here says, nothing but facts. We're not going back. Here's another person that says, they refused to try because they never had to. It was all handed to them while we had to work hard and prove ourselves over and over. It's hard for these guys to get out of their comfort zone, but that's what they have to do eventually. I am convinced that you cannot make a woman happy, and it's not your job to make women happy. Happiness is something that you are responsible for. It doesn't mean that you go out of your way to make women unhappy. I don't think that's the point. I say this because if you listen to women in the West, you would think that they have it the worst off, right? And the reality is that other women in other countries would give everything to have the opportunity and freedom that they have here. At what point would women be actually happy? I don't know. You tell me.
I find it quite funny and amusing when women in America, like myself, I am an American woman, complain about how hard we have it. I can assure you, as someone who travels and lives internationally, it is worse everywhere else.
There she goes. She says it is worse everywhere else. And there you have an American woman, because some of them do get it. Top comment here says they just can't admit it. Good for you being able to show appreciation. Somebody else who says the lack of accountability and gratitude. Somebody else here added, sounds like you just learned something about women. Here's another person who says this is why people should travel. This is true. The type of different perspective you get after you've traveled somewhere, or even if you were exposed to a different culture, will really put you at a place of appreciation rather than thinking that you are the victim. You will see more opportunity when you realize that people don't have the same type of opportunity that you have. And I believe more people need to travel more because they would change how they actually view themselves, their situation, and would probably be more content about their actual situation. Somebody else here says America is literally the best. Somebody else here added, wow, finally a reasonable take on how things really are. Here's another person who says, yep. Here's another person who says, thank you, sis. Another person who says, speaking the truth and it hurts. Of course, you won't see any chicks in these comment sections. I mean, if it's so bad, you would think that there is a place that's actually doing it right. But if somebody looks at you and said, this world, there's no place in this world that's actually able to please a woman, what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
You don't like who you are. You don't like life. You don't like the universe, how it works. You don't like the law set up by God. You don't like it. You don't get it. You don't appreciate it. Comment down below. Of course, I'm always curious to know what you guys think. Of course, to my currently engaged or soon to be married men, or maybe you're planning to propose soon. If you need a prenup but don't know where to start, head over to fathershaverights.com. We help you. We guide you in understanding how to approach getting a prenuptial agreement via our expert attorneys before you hire your lawyer. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.